What this more so represents is the state of how our democracy is going to fall. It is the fear he then instills in our public by prosecuting his political opponents and enemies with frivolous lawsuits and claims and allegations. And then, with those frivolous claims and allegations that he's prosecuting high ranking individuals, attorney generals of the United States, that will then trickle down in fear for everyone else, everyday Americans, to speak up against injustices. It is a power play. It is a dictator. It's a dictator move that no matter what you do, if you cross Donald Trump, you will be prosecuted, even with no evidence against you. So, this is why it is very important to speak out about this, especially with the indictments of James Comey and Letitia James, because right now we are at a state where this administration, this regime is using their political power and manipulating our federal laws and our Constitution to prosecute and deem that they are untouchable. And the fact of the truth is that they are not untouchable. So when we come to an indictment, we have to talk about what an indictment is. So indictments basically are just like formal written accusations of alleged crimes committed. So when an alleged crime is committed, a grand jury then reviews the evidence, and then basically it's submitted to the defendant. And it's like basically you're being sued kind of thing, but more formal in a sense when a grand jury reviews the evidence and they believe that there is probable cause for a crime to be investigated and possibly go to trial. So when it comes to these indictments, it is a fear tactic. It is a straight up gangsta fear tactic for Donald Trump to use right now. And it is basically saying, if you cross me, if you have had crossed me, if you will cross me, if you ever think of crossing me, I will get you in a court of law, injusticely. Obviously, because there's no merit to these claims when it comes to James Comey. There's no merit to these accusations and allegations when it comes to Letitia James. It is simply vindictive and malicious prosecution. That is what this is for Donald Trump. Of course, it's a feather in his cap, but it's also promoting fear-mongering that if you cross this administration, we will have your ass on a platter. And whether there's truth to these allegations, whether there's truth, or even if there is or isn't any evidence, we will throw anything against the wall to prove that you are guilty of crimes you possibly didn't even commit. It is an abuse of our justice system. It is an abuse, obviously, of the presidential power. And it's abuse of our literal criminal justice system in a sense that he's literally removing lawmakers and attorney generals, and he's prosecuting them on behalf of himself because he feels that he shouldn't have been prosecuted in the first place for the crimes he was convicted of, 34 felonies.